everyone, welcome to Nicki's Saturday Lunch Live, the first one in a row. This is on Instagram, and I also recorded here for my YouTube channel, but I missed the recording of the beginning. So today we're talking about victimhood, a very strong, negative, destructive emotional mindset that is blocking a lot of people from healing, from being themselves and on their evolution. Is to firstly how to detect this victimhood within us. Then to also expand our awareness, okay, what's going on? And this is also about the consciousness expansion that everybody talks about at the moment. Then we are gonna go into some solutions. And then obviously I'm an animal healer, or I work with animals and I heal animals, but I also heal the relationship between animals and the humans, because we kind of drifted away from ourselves, we kind of drifted away from nature, whereas all the answers to our questions actually lie in ourselves and in nature. So this is my passion, and I made my passion my mission, and I'm really happy about it. So I'm gonna always give you at the end, or maybe in the beginning, this time at the end, a little outlook about our topic into nature or animals. So this is what we're gonna do. If you look at it, today, there are kind of three groups of people. So if we want to, sketch the whole thing. So there is the one group that they're always on top of everything. So they're very strong. They seem to be very strong. They're never victim of anything. They could always sail through the stuff and everything is good. But these people, it's going to be quite difficult to actually detect your victimhood, because even if they have to really watch themselves really very well, very thoroughly, in order to find this victimhood in them, if they have something to do with that. So more often than not, it's actually in the subconscious. So the healing process then is to really bring this from the subconscious to the conscious, in order then to actually let it go and heal. So this is the first group. And then you have on the spectrum, on the other extreme, you have the people who are all the time victims, and who very well know that, who actually got so used to it that for them it's very difficult to let go of this victimhood, let go of the suffering that actually comes with it. So you feel that when you're around them, they would always tell you how this and that, and how they suffer from everything, and they're victims. And especially today with restrictions, measurements that they're imposed to us, and also every kind of situation, they feel really being a victim to everything. They feel completely paralyzed. They have no power anymore about anything. And there it's obvious, it's very obvious where the victimhood lies, and it doesn't make so much effort to actually go through that, to detect it. But actually to heal it, it would take much more effort, because these are really imprinted, very strong resonances with this victimhood. And then you have the group in the middle that have a good life, are happy about it, and still fall prey to victimhood from time to time. So I guess this is like most of the people. And so detection would be actually kind of easy, but then you still have to have a whole work that is done on the subconscious. So one way of detecting victimhood as fear and everything else, maybe we're going to do one on fear, because that's also a big topic at the moment, is to actually watch your frequencies. To be more aware about your frequency in general. And then when you go into a situation of where you feel small, where your frequency goes down, and you have to train yourself to actually then again be on a higher level, so to get to past that. And so victimhood, as other emotions, they have a very low frequency, actually low and very destructive frequency. So that's one way of detecting it, is to actually, and it really serves in life, to train yourself on how to feel these frequencies all the time, to know exactly when you're actually going down. Then you can also look around yourself. So if you really feel like a victim all the time, you will always find partners that are in the same situation because of the resonance, the principle of resonance. I'm going to go into that afterwards as well. So you would have a dinner party where everybody talks about, how heavy life is, and how we are all victims about everything, etc., etc. So when you stop sometime and you look what's going on around yourself, and everybody talks about being a victim, etc., well, you're kind of attracted to that. So that's also an indication that you have it within you. You can also, or you should also watch your language. What language do you use throughout the day, all the time? What kind of, we like habits. So we talk with kind of the same words sometimes. Does this language actually make you small? Does this language put you underneath something else? So watch your language and watch what you're actually used to saying. If somebody says to you, oh, life is good, do you say yes, but? These kind of things. So that's another way of detecting victimhood. And then watch your emotions. It's an emotion, it's a mindset, but it's also an emotion. So watch your emotion, watch what you feel. Watch when you see something, when you hear some information, watch how you react. I see a lot of people, they hear about a conflict or a natural disaster or something strong happening, destructive happening, somewhere completely different. Yes, we are empaths. Yes, we have a lot of empathy. And that's our human being. It's not about that. It's having these emotions. Do I have now empathy? Can I feel for them? Or do I actually lower my vibration, my frequency? If you lower your vibration, your frequency, that's not wanted. You have to be strong, because you're actually the one that we all, as human beings, we are the ones who actually have to create something different and not go down with it. So watch your emotions. And actually a good exercise, I posted this actually some 2 weeks ago or something, the week of right to life. And the exercise you can do on whatever topic you want to do it, and whenever you want to do it. It's actually quite interesting. Mark, note, write down. In this case, write down all your emotions, all your thoughts, all your acts that are related to victimhood, just for 24 hours. What you do, what you think, what you feel, related to that victimhood, just for 24 hours. That's called awareness, actually. That's being then aware of where you are with that topic that is highly destructive. So that's kind of an interesting exercise to see where you are, and then take it basically from there. So be aware that this victimhood that is so destructive and that many people feel, that is blocking them completely from healing, blocking them completely from functioning in these times in the society. We're never victims, never. We create everything ourselves. Our own reality is created by ourselves. So maybe you need some time to let that sink in. And we don't like to hear it because we don't like not being in charge. But when we realize that we are completely in charge of everything, that's the whole awakening today. When we are completely in charge of everything that happens, and nothing happens to us, it's done by us, it's reflected to us. Also the situation today in the world. We don't like that either. We don't like that either. So that's the whole purpose now, is actually that humanity has to get back behind the steering wheel, take the responsibility for ourselves and create a new earth. That's our mission for ourselves and for everything else. So you have to know the principle of resonance. The principle of resonance basically means that if there is something related on the outside, let's say, the outside of yourself, related with victimhood, or if you are in a situation where you feel the victim, where you are a victim of an aggression, of the system, of whatever it might be, you have a resonance within you that is the victimhood, or that is the emotion of feeling to be a victim. So without the resonance within you, it can never happen to you. It's just not possible because you can't create it. So it cannot happen to you back. It cannot be reflected to you back. It's like a computer, I always say. If you have a computer and you put Control C, at some point there was a command saying to the computer, okay, if somebody presses those two buttons, Control C, then you copy that stuff. Okay, if nobody actually had put this there, had programmed that computer to do that with these two buttons, then what happens? Nothing happens. You can tell the computer to copy and you can do Control C as you like, but it will never copy. The same thing with resonances. If you don't have any resonance, you will not experience this. This is something to really, really, really integrate within you. So we are never victims. We always create our reality ourselves. And why is it so important about the resonance is that you understand how reality is created, your reality, how it is created. Why is it so important? Because that gives you the solution of changing what you experience. Knowing that you are all you have the responsibility of creating your own reality, and that will then feed into the collective reality, means also that you have the power to change that reality. That's the important conclusion that you have to draw from that. And that's very cool. So talking about solutions, how do you get out of this? Okay, so you have to detect it. You have this awareness of accepting that this is created by you and only yourself. Maybe in the collectivity and maybe not, maybe very strongly yes so, is that on the collective part now, throughout the world, and this is what gives it the strength, there is a lot of victimhood. There is a lot of this emotion. There's a lot of limiting belief systems, obviously. And if you're in resonance with that, obviously you're in resonance with a very, very, very strong negative destructive field. And that's why it triggers you so much. And that's why maybe little situations become big in big situations. The positive side is that it comes to the surface and it comes into your face. And then you can say, okay, I stay a victim, which is destructive. Or you say, okay, I detect that now within myself. I'm aware of, I'm being the creator of this. And now I have solutions for it. So the solutions is basically to become clear. That's a work that we all have to do every day, all day. And it can be actually quite cool. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to meditate for six hours and I can't. Who can? But it is a way of living. It is really a way of living. It's to be clearer about what do I want. Today, a lot of people, or let's say always, but today it's important to actually change that. It's a lot of people define themselves what they do not want and not what they want. If you talk universal language, talking about animals, if you have a dog that always jumps on everyone, a lot of people have that. I hear all the time that people say, don't jump. What do you do? How do you communicate there? It's basically you send the image of the dog jumping on someone, and then you put a red cross over it and say, don't. It's too late, he's already jumping. So, and that's the universal language. That's why you see it in animals. They reflect this back to you, how you have to function. Don't function with negations. It just doesn't work that way. So you have to find the positive opposite of what you don't want anymore. So I want that and that. Okay? So if you go around and say, if you go about this and say, okay, I want to have a life without victimhood, then look at what you're creating. A life, okay, that's a bit wishy-washy, that's a bit general. Okay, so you create a life without, okay, victimhood. You put again the energy of the word, of the sentiment, of this emotion, victimhood, and then you put a cross around it, above it. And so that doesn't work that way. So what you do is that you have to shift your focus of what you don't want anymore to what you really want. And that's what you have to create. So get clearer about what you actually want. For example, you have, let me see here, can you actually hear me? Wait, there are a lot of people waving. But yeah, so I think it works. Can you put a comment there that you can hear me? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Christina. Perfect, thank you. Okay, so an example. A current example. Everybody talks about high energy prices, electricity, gas, again, fear stuff. Okay, so I don't want to go into politics. It's just a thing that people now feel victim because they say, well, you know, they have these prices. Whatever you do, you will get the bill. Okay, so what is your reaction to that? Oh, no. How am I going to pay the bill? Victim, 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 victim to the system. And you can also at the same time push yourself back and say, okay, now my frequency went down. What is keeping my frequency up? What is getting my power actually going? How can I empower myself again in this situation? You all know about free energy. You know about free energy technology that is not being released. Whatever the reason, I don't want to go into that. That's not important for this purpose. But Tesla, etc. All this exists. It's just not released yet. It exists and it works. So what can you do? You can put all your power to say, okay, I push forward that this free energy technology will be released. Is released. So go into the moment that it is already released. If everybody would do that, if everybody did that, I think it's going to be a big push actually that this is going to be released. So this is positive, taking from a situation that is not a happy situation. You can take that energy and push it actually into the right direction. A lot of people today try to dismantle the system in saying this is not good, look at him, look at that, very much polarization. You find yourself in victimhood of the system, you find yourself in complete judgment, which is again destructive. So you push forward to the positive, put your attention to the positive outcome that you want to have. So sometimes people say, well, if I do it, there's a whole world to change out there. Well, if a lot of people think that way, the world is going to be changed very quickly, because everything takes speed and everything goes into the collectivity, and everything has an impact. So even if you go out of your victimhood and you heighten your frequency based on that, how do you know? Maybe in China, far away, let's say, a child is actually smiling and another person has an idea of doing something positive. How do you know the effect? There is always an effect, always. And the positive, let's say the high frequencies, they are sustainable. The low frequencies, the destructive frequencies, are not sustainable. They hurt for a while, but they're not sustainable. It's impossible. And history shows it. So that's of creating a different mindset, a positive mindset, a high frequency mindset. And that everybody can do. Rewrite your mindset. On that, actually, I have a webinar that people really, really like. It is about mindsets. It is about blocking belief systems, how to reprogram them, how to heal them. Very interesting. So you can also heal the resonances. Obviously, you have to heal the resonances with victimhood. So now we were on the surface. The belief systems, etc., they're very, very going very, very deep as well. But then you still have these resonances in there. So this group that, you know, everything is cool and etc., they have their resonances quite, you know, in the really in the deep part. So that's something that needs healing. So you can either have somebody to help you with that. You know, I work on these resonances with negativities and with negative frequencies, or low frequencies, let's say. So there are people doing that, but you can also learn how to do it yourself. And that's actually what I'm standing for. That's why I also created these webinars, is that I give the tools to people that they, in the end, can help themselves. Because we all want to be independent. I think one very strong, positive opposite of victimhood is sovereignty, being sovereign. I am a sovereign human being. And that you want to, you know, in that sense that you're sovereign, you want to also learn healing practices and healing techniques to actually get these resonances out. Because now it's victimhood, there are a lot of stuff in us, and we have to take the trash out in order to shine. So that's beautiful. And then and get inspired by nature as well, by the animals, by nature. And this is our biggest problem today. It's not what's going on. What's going on is, again, our reflection of what we are having. We fed the field with, let's say. And if you look at nature, if you look at the animals, if you look at horses are flight animals. What does that mean, a flight animal? The horse in front of a wolf or a coyote doesn't have any defense. It's a prey. So what does the animal, what did it do in the natural evolution? A horse has a very strong senses, very fine senses. So what their force is, what their strength is to actually detect danger for them, for their lives, detect them really, really early. Early warning system, just within their senses. That's why they're so sensitive. And then they run. So that's how they are. That's their nature. If they fall because of that, in their natural being, if they fall into victimhood, do you think that they would survive? I don't think so. It's very, very destructive. so they don't fall into victimhood. You see? So those are, if you watch nature, if you watch how they work together, because victimhood is always something in relation to. If you watch the cooperation, the togetherness, and but everybody, in their way, you could also observe how nature deals with this. And victimhood is not inscribed there. So it is definitely destructive and a very low frequency. And we should get away from that, I think. So, yeah, the connection was gone. Yeah. So that's about it today, and I'm gonna post this afterwards. I have another recording going on for my YouTube channel where you can find me, and otherwise you can find all my information on nickinatur.com, is nickinatur.com, and about workshops, about my work. And I see you next week. Have a lovely time. Let me know if there is a comment or something. I'm here. I'm trying to watch it. And if there is no comment, then we'll see each other next week. I'll let you know about the topic. And have a beautiful weekend. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.